Well, where do we start with the drama last night, Mike?
Just your typical Laker game, Lamar Odom showing up for the first time since sustaining strokes last October. Johnny Manziel in the crowd. Lakers actually winning a game, which hasn't happened a lot. And of course, the big thing: D'Angelo Russell, Nick Young. An unbelievable day. Just a typical day in Lakerland, right? Nothing new. Crazy. Just crazy.
What was the locker room like?
It was kind of political. It was very diplomatic. You talked to Julius Randle, who has this big game-winning shot last night against a team, by the way, Miami, that really needed a victory to stay in the chase for third place in the Eastern Conference. And everyone wants to talk to Julius about D'Angelo and Nick Young. And he kind of chose the diplomatic route, saying, I support both those guys. Jordan Clarkson, similar sentiment. Both those guys are my brothers, Everyone's trying to be diplomatic. I just don't know how it's going to end up. It's a very bizarre situation, to say the least.
Yeah, because I'm looking, and I guess you can look at a bigger picture here of free agents wanting to play there. What's the future of?
Yeah.
I think you've got a nucleus there with Clarkson, Randall, and D'Angelo Russell, but I don't know who else survives this. So can you look at big picture? Because small picture is they just play out the rest of the season. You're not going to the playoffs, but what does this mean in the offseason for the team and future teammates?
Dan, that is a huge question. I mean, the Lakers are going to have about $55 million to spend, on pace to have more than anyone else in the league, especially with the big jump in the salary cap coming up. And they've struggled the last couple of years without any questions about character on their team. They're 0 for 7 in their last free agent sit-downs, including their own guys, Dwight Howard and Pau Gasol, obviously Carmelo Anthony, LaMarcus Aldridge. That meeting did not go so well last summer, and there were no questions about team character at all. This summer, I think they might have to pay guys a little bit more if they have to, maybe like a Nick Batum, or they might go after DeMar DeRozan, just to be able to try to get them to play for the Lakers. And they will be able to. I'm not saying that one correlates with the other. They have to pay more to kind of bribe guys to play with D'Angelo, but they're going to have enough money that someone will take their money. And they will be. You would think they'll be better next year, although that's what I said a year ago as well, and that turned out to be inaccurate.
What about Kevin Durant? It seems like every other day there's a new report or speculation of where he could end up. And I just saw one today where, hey, don't rule out the Lakers. Well, you can't rule out the Lakers, but can you?
They'll get a meeting with him. I can't see how they don't get a sit down with Kevin Durant. But if he wants to win a championship, this obviously is not the team. 16 victories, and here we are one day from April. Just an unbelievable bad season for them. Almost done. I compare it to continually tumbling into the abyss. And I just don't see why he would want to come to this franchise, because they're really far from a championship right now.
Who's going to coach this team next year?
That's a really good question. Byron Scott, as tumultuous as yesterday was for the Lakers, it turned out to be a pretty good day for him. He will not say this publicly. I'm not even sure he's thinking that right now. But he's had all this tough love with the young guys throughout the entire season, been criticized for it. What are you, Pat Riley without the championship roster, that type of thing. But this activity, this behavior by their young guys, D'Angelo Russell in particular, kind of justifies Byron's tough love throughout this entire season. He's been very critical openly over the last 6 months of what these guys need to do on and off the court. And this might have bought him some time. Maybe Laker fans are saying, okay, everything he's been doing this season, there's a reason for it if these guys are going to behave like this off the court.
I know D'Angelo Russell did meet with the media. Did anybody ask him how the video actually got leaked?
Yeah, he claims that he does not know, and he seemed pretty insistent about it. He kept bringing it up. He kind of kept ending his sound bites with it a couple times, no matter what the question was, it seemed. He seems pretty insistent that he has no idea how it leaked out. I know there was a Snapchat report earlier in the day yesterday, but the video was too long for a typical Snapchat, which is about 10 seconds. So unless D'Angelo has some special Snapchat access that none of us have, I think he probably just shot a video on his phone, probably texted it to a couple guys, a couple friends maybe, and then and this happened a couple months ago. This video was not shot 2 days ago or even 2 weeks ago. And maybe one of his guys just recently had his phone hacked, or maybe he went behind D'Angelo's back and sold it to a gossip website a few days ago.
Look at us talking social media. Look at you talking Snapchat, Mike. Can you believe, though, that of all the stories you've covered, and you've covered a lot with the Lakers, where does this one rank?
It's pretty high up there. When I took over the beat in 2004, I remember Karl Malone got in a verbal spat with Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's wife. And Vanessa kind of accused him of hunting Mexican women. And I'm like, what is this? What is going on? And this is right up there with that. Just a wild 12 years I've had covering the Lakers. And this is definitely the wildest story of the season. You know what's funny, Dan? The Lakers kind of trump themselves with these crazy stories. Just last week, a woman accused Jordan Clarkson and Nick Young of verbally harassing her while they were both in their cars, while both parties were in their cars in Hollywood. And you're like, this is odd, this is bizarre. And Nick Young and Jordan Clarkson kind of did a side-by-side standing up news conference in the Laker locker room last week. And then this comes along and kind of trumps all that. And you're like, what's next? What's next week going to bring? You just have no idea.
If the Lakers...
But
if the Lakers get the number one pick, was the Kobe farewell tour successful?
Yeah, I'd say number one or number two. I mean, Ben Simmons is incredible. Obviously, you've got Brandon Ingram at Duke. I think he'll also be a really, really good NBA player. They don't want to fall to three because, three is kind of the wild, wild west as far as who do you take in the draft. And if they fall to four, Dan, they lose their top three protected pick, which kind of makes the season all for naught, basically. That will not be determined until the May 17th lottery in New York. But they've got to get a top two pick, in my mind. Right now they're slated, at least percentage-wise, to get a top three pick. They have to have it, or else the season was a total failure, period.
I liken Kobe to, he looked like the Michelin Man with ice all over him last night, and can't go. What is he going to get a chance to be Kobe one more time the rest of this regular season?
Yeah, he keeps saying he's going to play all 7 of the remaining games, and Sundays Boston's coming to town. That's going to be a pretty emotional night. Gary Vitti, the longtime trainer, he'll be. They're going to have his retirement night. Because obviously you can't have that on the season finale, April 13th against Utah at Staples Center, because that's Kobe's night. It's been a rough several games for him. 1 for 7 last night, could not play past the end of the first quarter. 1 for 11 in Utah the other night when the Lakers lost by 48 to tie a franchise record for their worst loss ever in their 68-year history, Dan. I don't know. We might have seen the best of Kobe, Maybe if he scores 25 points in one of these games, he's probably going to have to take 20-something shots to get to it because he is running on fumes right now.
Great stuff, Mike, as always. Thanks for joining us, and have fun the rest of the regular season.
Oh, how could I not? Who knows what's around the next corner, right?
Thank you, Mike.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.